Right.
Hey, we're
Putting on
live.
there. It went live.
It went live.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chrissy, and welcome to my channel. Here I have Isabelle Olmo, who is an author, and she is going to tell us about her series and specifically her debut novel, The Queen and
Yes.
Conqueror. And my phone I did not know my volume was up, so we are live.
Yay! Good.
All right, so I'm going to put it over to you if you want to tell us about The Queen and Conqueror and the series that you're writing.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Isabelle Olmo, and I am a Puerto Rican author, and I've published my first book. Oh, here we go. Queen and Conqueror. It is book one of The Queen's Red Guard, which is an adult feminist fantasy series, and we're going to go into a little bit about that later on. It is an adult feminist fantasy series. First book is out. You can get it in Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Ebooks only available on Amazon, and it is on Kindle Unlimited if you have Kindle Unlimited. I know a lot of people are taking advantage of that. And the next book will be out next year. So, and we'll also go into that a little bit more. But yes, here she is.
Excellent. So, can you tell us a summary of the book? And specifically, you market this book as a feminist fantasy. So, if you can give us a summary and then what that means.
Okay, so I first do my elevator pitch, which is like my favorite thing to do. And I learned what an elevator pitch was through research. But the elevator pitch for my book is a woman loses her husband, and in order to get peace in the land, she offers her hand to the man who killed her husband. So that's my elevator pitch. It, as you will know, since you read it, it only scratches the surface of what the book is about. But it is the main driving plot is that, you know, we're trying to maintain land in peace in this land. So I'm heavily inspired by Game of Thrones. So when I was watching Game of Thrones and it ended, I kind of went into a rage. We're going to call it a rage. It lasted a few days. There was a lot of simmering. And then I was like, you know what? I want a Game of Thrones that's not only diverse, but that it also is driven by the female characters, and the female characters who want power are not like penalized for it. And that became like the basic foundation block of what I was envisioning. And because I am a pantser, I kind of just started writing from the heart. And the world kind of exploded around me. And I had all these different characters. I had diverse characters. I created an entire race, ruling race that's entirely Black. So these are not people who are oppressed or oppress other people. They literally have the equal amount of power as everyone else. And our main character comes from the highest ranking house of those people. So it is something that's extremely diverse, and there's a lot of females. There's something called, I forgot what you might know, Chrissy. It's when women, female characters have conversations in books, but they're not surrounding men or love interest. Do you know what
the Bechdel test? I actually just had that conversation with someone the other day.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Bechdel, and I forget her first name, my apologies, but she did a whole TED talk on that, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I had watched her TED talk years and years ago, like when it first came out. And I was like, it really like made me think. And I started realizing, I was like, oh my God, half of the stuff that I really love, most of the stuff that I really love would not pass this test. So when I wrote many of the scenes, consciously, I made sure that they would pass that. So many of the conversations that are had between the women in the books do not surround men or love interest or feelings or anything like that. They're having political conversations. So that's one of the things that I really wanted to bring in. I wanted it to be like a legit fantasy, like a legit political fantasy. So that's where the stem of the feminist comes in, where women are an equal footing within the political sphere of my world.
Excellent. I love that.
Yes.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, because even the Queen's Red Guard,
yes.
which that's the name of the series, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. So the Queen's Red Guard itself is comprised entirely of women, of at least women presenting characters.
Yes, and that is it's very interesting you say that, because there are trans characters that will be introduced later on in the series.
Nice.
Yes. So there it is women, and there's a particular line in the book, which I'm not going to say the vulgar word here, but you can read it in the book. And I specifically immediately had to change it because I was like, wait a second. There's male presenting characters that are going to be introduced later on in the book. I can't use that line. I have to change it around.
Ah.
So knowing what comes in the future, yeah, I had to do some editing around that to make sure that we are inclusive.
Yeah, of course.
That we are inclusive, and we're not offending those characters that might be male presenting. So yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm a big fan of this work. I thought it was really great.
Thank you very much. I had to, it had to come slowly, and I will go into like the editing process of it because I didn't know, it's changed a lot from the first concept I had, that rage filled writing spree I had after Game of Thrones. After got it out of my system, we'll put it that way. Then I started polishing it to what it is now to make it more unique and more individualistic in the way that it presents itself.
Nice. Did you find that you had to change a lot from that first rage-filled first draft?
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, first of all, the book was in first person when I first wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we only saw like Almira's point of view. And then as the world started growing, I was like, wait a second, there's stories to be told here. Why should I hold myself back? So that's there was changing. My editors helped out a lot, like in telling me, like guiding me, like I think it'll be stronger if we're doing a third person. And I know not everyone likes third person. I happen to love third person. That's
big fan.
Yeah, like you get all the different points of view from different people. I feel it's much richer. So that's why it isn't third person now.
Yeah, I think like granted it's totally valid to have a first person high fantasy.
Of course.
But I tend to gravitate more towards third person high fantasies just because, especially if you're character switching, then it gets makes a little bit more sense, I think. And sometimes first person you can run into the pitfall of sounding too much like the other character, so everyone's sounding kind of the same.
Yes, and character voice is not easy to master.
No.
Character voice to me to this day, aside from romance, because I've said that I do struggle like romance. I have to work to write like solid romance. Like I really admire romance writers. I think they're phenomenal. But character voice is so hard. It's such a technical thing to do, and a lot of people misunderstand. I'm not saying like the dialogue. Like dialogue is not what I'm talking about. Character voice is that narration part of it that makes a character unique. And when you have multiple points of view, oh my gosh, you got to develop lots of character voices. So yeah, I feel like I'm going crazy. So I'm like, whose voice am I in right now?
Yeah, because even though it's third person, you still put the characters' personalities in the narration of their chapters.
Exactly. And after you've like done a certain character's personality for a long time, I find myself like speaking in proper English. Thou, how, you know, like all these words, and I did it accidentally to the UPS guy at work. That was fun. He looked at, I said henceforth. And he was like, henceforth, I like that. Like, where the hell did that come from? I'm like, sir, I am editing a medieval fantasy story. Leave me alone.
Don't stop.
It was too much. It was too much.
It's like post haste.
Post haste. Not post haste.
Just confuse everyone around you.
Everyone around me has been confused. That's kind of how it is. So yes, beautiful. Character voice, yay. We shall call it author voice now.
Exactly, the author voice just comes out.
Yeah, the author voice.
So how many rounds of editing did the first draft manage, if you don't mind my asking?
7.
7.
Yes.
Dang.
So I didn't realize that I was meticulous and slightly anal until I went through this process. I thought I was a very carefree person. I thought things don't bother me. I thought like, that's not going to bother me. People can think whatever they want. No, I totally became type A during this entire process. I was questioning words that I never would have questioned. You know, I was just like, that word sound right. The word is like just JUST. And I'm like, well, do you belong there? 7 rounds. And usually if the book was a thinner book, I don't think it would be that much of a big deal. But yeah.
It's a bit chunky.
It's a little chunky. So henceforth it took forever.
Yeah, because it's like if it's not 500 pages, it's close to, right?
It's 500. Let me see. I have it right here in front
It's
of me.
over 500.
Oh yeah. It is definitely 508 in 6 pages. So
That's
yes.
a big book. Yeah, so I read it on ebook.
Oh yes.
Which always skews your view on how thick
Yes,
books
it does.
are.
It does.
Like, it does.
I kind of want to read the Priory of the Orange Tree in Kindle so that it feels like.
So you can see that percentage go up, and you're like, yes,
yes. Look at me. Look at my progress.
Exactly.
I'm such an avid reader.
That was one of the things that you mentioned, was that before writing your own book,
yes,
before even debuting your own book, you read a lot more than you have been able to this past year, but that's because you've been busy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I would do like those reading challenges that would last a week, that you have to read like 7 books in 7 days. And I would crush them. And I'm not talking that I just read graphic novels. I would read like 2 or 3 full-length novels, and then I would pair them up with like poetry collections and things like that. But yes, I can read very fast. Do I have time? That's a horse of a different color, because you don't understand how much editing takes out of you until you're doing it. So,
right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I always find the editing process to be interesting, because like a lot of people, I feel, think that a book just comes out and it's like perfect the first time around, and it's not.
And when you say people, we need to include authors in there, because I thought the same thing too. I thought I was going to be the special snowflake that was going to write a perfect book from the first try. And no, that's not how it is whatsoever. It was a rude awakening. When someone started criticizing, when my critique partners criticized the first draft, I was like shocked and bewildered. I was like, I'm not special.
This isn't 5 stars for all.
This is not 5 stars. You maybe give it a 2.75. What?
That would be an interesting way, I think, to do a critique group. What 5 out of 5 stars being the best? What is it? Some people probably, like, if they read my book, they're like 0.5.
Yeah, like I really thought, like, I had to learn a lot. There was a humble pie feast at times. So yes, that's how it went. That's why now if I ever accidentally come across like negative reviews, I'm like, next.
Cool.
You can't top the critique partner friends that were like super raw with me. They were like, this makes no sense. I don't understand how she got here. You need to remove this. And I was like, what? I had someone tell me to remove Captain Sana. She's pointless. What does she do? And I was like,
she's integral.
I was like, she's so important. I can't just remove her. But this is that I needed to do editing in order to bring her character out. I didn't realize that at the time. I just thought they were being mean. I was like, well, you guys are being so mean. I was like, I had thick skin until that moment.
I thought I was tough until I had to face the critique.
And I quickly turned into a Vietnamese spring roll, like really fast.
Just falling apart.
Just falling apart. Things coming everywhere. So yes.
So after that,
yeah, I knew this interview was going to be fun.
It is.
To say, I try to tell people, I was like, it's going to be fun. Chris is going to be there.
I always get people in the back end. I understand not coming to a live. People have busy lives. It's all right.
Yes. Meanwhile, they can always catch up and watch the chaos unfold.
Get questioning after the fact. We'll do a part 2.
Yes, we could do that too.
So after you did your the first round of like critiquing and first round of editing, how do you go from pantsing to editing? Because I think that's where I'm right now stuck. So I'm looking good advice.
Okay, so you've written your first draft, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so how long have you let it sit?
I let it sit for about a week and a half, and now I'm doing notes. Like I'm not
No,
rewriting.
Chrissy, put him down.
Oh no.
Put him down, honey. You've got to let a month pass at least. Listen, I'm telling you this as someone who wants you to succeed. Okay, and the reason that you let the marination period take place is because you're so fresh in your mind. Like if you can still recall a scene from the manuscript, it's too soon.
I love that.
True. Like you need to like reread it and be like, who wrote this? This is not bad. I thought it was a pile of shit. This is pretty good. You need to have those reactions. Now, unless you're planning to do some sort of a rapid publishing, rapid release, which I cannot give advice for because I could never rapid release. I don't have that dexterity. So that takes like really like a lot of skill and a lot of time, and I am not there yet. Okay, we'll put
I'm not rapidly releasing.
Yeah, it's so you gotta let it sit, read stuff that inspires you, watch TV shows that inspires you, and give yourself an entire 4 weeks, and then you pick that stuff up again. Okay. And then you get working on your next round of edits. Okay. So we'll start there. I let mine marinate. How long was it? 2 months. I let mine marinate 2 months. In the time that it was marinated, I wrote book 2. So yes, I wrote them back to back. Then I had forgotten what happened in book 1, which created inconsistencies, which is all part of the lovely editing process.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I did. I wrote the other book, and I did a trip to Peru and cleared my head. It was good. Nice. And never climb a mountain again, though.
Never again.
Yes, I am an author, not a sports person. Because let me just tell you that I really thought I was athletic until I got to certain elevations.
Yeah, no, I'm not much of a hiker. So.
Yes. So I finished coming down a mountain and I get to editing. And it was really good to have that time off because I pretty much like butchered that next script. I tore it up. And I really thought I was ready after that. I was like, oh, look at me. I took a pink pen to everything. And then I sent it to my critique partners. Well, she was a developmental editor, and she did it for free because she was a fan of my writing when I used to write fan fiction. So she did editing, and she was like, you know what? I like your writing. I'll be more than happy to do a dev edit / critique of it. And then she proceeded to murder me. That was rough, man. That was intense. It was intense. I was not prepared because I wasn't on TikTok, so I hadn't listened to people give advice of like what to expect when receiving feedback, and I was just like a soft baby lamb. I was just like, this book is amazing, and then like tore it up. And after I lay horizontally for a while, I went ahead and I picked myself up from the ground and got to work. But that process, those 7 edits that I went through, it took about 3 years because I did give up on the manuscript for 2 years. I put it on the shelf literally. And I said, I'm just going to start with something new. This is too complicated. And then I my friend had like a coming to Jesus meeting, and he was like, you need to roll up your sleeves and like figure it out. And I was like, no, I can't. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like really overwhelmed because, again, no TikTok to give me like pointers like what to do here, what to do here. I just didn't know how to fix it. I was just like, I don't know how to fix it. So that's how I started watching a lot of YouTube videos. Like there's a lot of editors and agents that give advice on YouTube. So I just started listening to them, and I was like, okay, let me put this into practical practice. Oh, in the midst of all of that, COVID's happening.
Oh, jeez.
Right. Right. And I decided this second draft manuscript is so amazing. I'm going to go ahead and query it as COVID is happening and send it to all these New York editors. You know how New York got hit really bad during COVID?
Yeah.
Like the publishing it. So I'm sending it to these poor agents who are like living through Armageddon. And I'm like, would you like to read
The Queen and Conqueror?
Queen and Conqueror. So it was a little bit of a disaster, but listen, everything happens for a reason, because it allowed me time to like start like following indie authors and see how the process worked. And that's when I made the decision. I was like, you know, I can do this on my own. It's not that hard. It can't be that time consuming.
And then
And now I have no life.
So after so you did how long did you wait between querying editors and deciding to do the independent publishing route?
I want to say that was the longest time period. It was like a year and a half. Okay. So that was the time that I gave up on it. Like, agents didn't want it. The world was coming apart. I started planting tomatoes. I was like, you know,
we need to have our homestead.
I was homesteading hardcore. And I was like, there's not going to be any need for writers. And so I kind of like gave up on it. And then after COVID kind of like never went, I mean, it never was really here in Florida, I remember. So we were just as surprised that the world kept having COVID, not us. So during that time, I pulled it from the shelf and I started tinkering back on it again, having really little knowledge of how to do it, but really trying my best. I kind of like printed it out and started pulling apart, like putting scenes together to shorten it because it was dragging. A lot of people said that it dragged a bit in the beginning. So I don't even know how I did it. I just kept polishing and went going over scenes over and over. And then I got beta readers, and that was the game changer. When I realized you could get beta readers by doing an announcement, you know, on TikTok, I was like, you know, hear me with my little happy face, like, hi, you don't know me, but like, I need help. This was like a year ago, I think. I need help. I need beta readers. Like, if anyone's interested, and for whatever reason, it didn't blow up because none of my videos, aside from my flood video, has blown up. But like, a lot of people got interested, and like, I had like 67 people sign up, and I was like, oh, wow. Oh my gosh, this is like a lot of people interested. Out of the 67, about 12 only reply back, but 12 was enough because I had quite a few beta readers who were fantastic. I mean, they really pinpointed like issues that they had with the pacing, the characters, romance, etc. And I got like a 7-page list of things I needed to fix. Oh, wow. So that was like the hardest round of edits probably that I had to do. So at that point, I was in the 6th draft of the supposedly perfect book.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. But I think that the reason I did so many drafts is because I really just didn't know what I was doing. It was like I was shooting blind in the dark. I was like, okay, we'll try this and we'll try that. But I think that first learning pain really is going to help me for the second one. Now, I feel like that the book that I sent to my beta readers now, which is the second book, is in a far better condition than my first book was, because I know exactly what it is that they're looking for, etc. So hopefully, and I say this with like a sincere heart, I don't have to go through 7 drafts.
Let's hope it's not 7.
I can't. Like, it's exhausting every time you go through a round of edits for an entire book. You're just like, you know, you lose yourself. Like, I didn't get my nails done. Brows were unmade. It was a disaster. It was an absolute
brows undone, nails not done.
It was a disaster. Unrecognizable. Living off Red Bull.
I feel like Almira had a point in that book where she has to say, she's like,
I might have been going through some things.
There might have been something.
Yeah, I might have been going through some things myself. I don't know. That's the part of me that I injected into the character. So, had to show up somehow.
Had to get there.
Yes, exactly.
Not only is the editing part rough, but also the marketing is something. So, like, I knew that people kept saying online, you got to do your marketing yourself. But that's a very nebulous term, right? Oh, marketing yourself. Okay, cool. I can do that. I can market myself. So I started out by having a Teams call with my cousin, who's a marketing manager in Puerto Rico for Colgate. Okay. So, and I'm like, listen, I need to market
my book. And she's just staring at me like, what do you know about marketing? And I'm like, I mean,
I
like
put my face up.
billboards? Do we still do billboards? So she's like, oh my God, we're gonna have to take this. So she threw at me, like, I still have that notebook there. Chaos. I tried to write as much as I could about branding and all that stuff. I think I grasped about like 4.75% of what she was telling me. And it just shook me because I was like, I don't know how to take this off the ground. So I decided to like start a TikTok channel. That I was like, so I hear TikTok works. I hear that with TikTok, you can get people to follow you. So I started a TikTok channel and I started just giving advice on writing because I've been writing for so long. And I mean drafting and story development, not editing. I've been writing for so long that I was like, okay, I can partake some information that I've learned through my journey with people. And that's how I started. And then I just started gaining followers. And then one day I did a video about Instagram. I was like, has anyone heard of this place called Instagram? I think I need to set up an account there. And suddenly I had all these authors because, you know, authors are incredibly generous with information. I mean, you ask for one thing and they will be like, okay, let me do a 3-minute video with bullet points about this. Okay. That's how we are. We like to talk. We just do it in books, you know, we just type it up.
Get all our word counts in.
Exactly. So I got a lot of help and I started getting a lot of followers on Instagram. And I mean, it's still nothing to like, like, I'm not an influencer on Instagram, but I grew my Instagram channel much faster than I thought. And so then I started thinking about like, I've got to do promo videos about my book. And that was a disaster because my main character is Black, and to find Black fantasy like stock videos and photos is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I didn't realize the scarcity. Sato, where were you seeing it today? The scarcity of it all. Like until I started doing this, and I started doing videos of like frustrated of like, where the hell are the Black queens?
Yeah.
I got the wrong type of people to answer that question. But so that's not what I was asking for. But thank you for representing
so
yourself.
We still love you.
Yes, I still love you, but I was asking about like stock photos of a female presenting queen. Do we have any of those in a medieval and it was so hard. I think I only found about 3, and I had to like pay extra money for them because they were like hard to find. They're semi-exclusive, so that I could use them on promo videos. So because I didn't know how to do anything else, I just kept doing promo videos. I inundated my my lovely friends at TikTok. They were fellow authors, so they knew what I was trying to do. I inundated their feed because I just kept like doing promo videos and recording my voice. And by the way, the trick to recording a really good promo video, and I'm about to partake some serious information with
Need a pen.
Write it down. When you're gonna record a promo video, like a voiceover, do it when you just woke up. Your voice is so much deeper. It is silk. It is so much deeper. Like you've got like an amazing voice when you first ask. The pitch goes up exponentially as the day goes on. So I would record literally under the covers, like, okay, once upon a time, and it would come out great. Will come out great. People will be like, "Is that you speaking?" I'm like, "Yes."
5 o'clock in the morning.
Am I awake? I'm not sure.
Before the coffee,
before the coffee, before anything happens, I would record, and that's how I started like recording promo videos. And I just didn't stop. And I've never, to this day, none of them have ever gone viral. And I've always told people that's perfectly okay, because even if your little video gets 150, 250 views, you do that every day for about 4 months. And you're talking about thousands of people that are being exposed to you. And I did get people that told me, like, I finally bought your book because of all the promos. And I was like, I was like, damn right you did.
Put work into that.
Yes, blood, sweat, and tears, goddammit. I sold the book.
Dang right. Well, and it seems to be going really well because you kept your book on Kindle Unlimited, so it's doing pretty good over there, right?
Yes, Kindle. I didn't expect it to do like I really okay, the when I first started, I wasn't thinking of putting it in Kindle Unlimited. I was going to publish wide.
Mm-hmm.
But just stuff came up in my personal life that I was like, okay, this is a lot to deal with at the same time. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this Kindle Unlimited business, and I'll load it there. And like right off the bat, there was like a lot more people reading it than I thought, and I was like wondering like, where are these people coming from? I was really concerned because I really thought that I was just talking to an empty space. You know, sometimes when people will like a video, but they won't comment or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, I'll just release it. And I mean, good luck, Brenda. You know, good luck out there.
You got the lurkers.
Yes, yes, there's a lot of lurkers. So I also put together an ARC team. Like I was pushing my book like a drug like pusher, like in a parking lot. I really was. I was like, and you can get a free copy. You don't have to do anything. You just like, but
like opening up the trunk in the parking lot.
I was like, I really kind of went like I call it guerrilla tactic because it was kind of like that. I was like talking about it randomly in places. I wrote a novella to get people like a taste of my writing because people hadn't read my style, and I know my style is not for everyone. It is a little bit I don't know, I call it slow. It's the wrong word to use, but it's not like action packed all the time. That's not my style. So I was like, okay, but there's people out there who may like this. So I released the novellas for free, like a kind of luring them like a 1980s like Halloween candy curve. And I was like, you know what I'm talking about.
White van, a free book.
Yes. I was like, look, children, a free book.
Come here.
Come get a free book. And I just kept pushing it. And then people downloaded the novella. Like a lot of people downloaded the novella. I'm like, again, who are you people? And every time I would get paid, I would pay for a couple of ads on Instagram to just get outside of like the circle who was already following me. So I get paid and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna drop my $30 for the paycheck and get it out there. So I don't know if that helped or not, but hey, I was trying guerrilla warfare.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I was like, okay, and then I was following a group on Instagram that did book tours, and I really thought that they were like way too expensive because I had spoken to another book tour company and it was thousands of dollars, and I was like, can't do that right now, but thank you. I even had a phone conversation with them, and I was just like, when they gave me the price, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, jeez. But I found this smaller company that had just launched, and they weren't charging that much. And I was like, you know what? I'll pay it because I just don't know what else to do. And they ended up being amazing. They got me like literally like serious readers. So I got like a little group. I don't know if any of them will sign, but I call them my little team of readers. And they kind of did like a reading, like read along together. Oh, nice. And I was invited to their chats, and I was watching their reactions as they were finding out the things in the book. So it was super fun. It was super fun. And they just loved it. So they kept talking about it to their friends. And I think my book particularly has benefited from word of mouth more than anything. I haven't had a viral video. I haven't had a viral Instagram or a viral tweet or anything like that. Nothing's gone viral. It's literally been people talking about it. Oh, I read it. Here, pass it on to your friends and things like that. So that's how it's been.
Excellent. Well, I may be misremembering, so you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but you did a kind of PR package that ended up going out, and I think that might have been for your ARC team.
Yes. So what I did is I wasn't getting my books in on time. I didn't realize how long formatting took, and I had to hire a formatter because I didn't know what I was doing in terms of formatting. So it was like really last minute. My dreams in my head was that I was going to send out 50 PR boxes. I did not realize how expensive PR boxes are, because you got to get all the goodies inside, all the boxes, the shipping, all of that. So what I did is that I was like, okay, so I'm going to focus on 15 people, 15 people with platforms that have between 3,000 to 20,000 followers. So I was sticking to like the smaller creators. I didn't realize at the time when I made my little plan that it would actually be to my benefit, because a lot of those people, because they're not big enough to get giant PR boxes from like the major publishing companies, were super excited to receive one from me, because they never received one. And I'm thinking like, these people must be like swimming in PR boxes. They're not even going to notice mine.
They're like, this is my first one I've ever had.
Yeah, and I did these PR boxes and I sent them out. I reached out to each of them individually, and these were people that I had followed and interacted with for a while. I did not do any cold calling. It was like, hey, you know, I don't know if you know, but I wrote this book. We've been following each other for a while. Do you want me to send you a copy? I have a PR package. And nearly everybody said yes. So I kind of like put together my little book with like things that I found. I found like was stickers. I made stickers. I made bookmarks. Nice. I became obsessed with doing those because I love anything that's stationary. Like that's the nerd side of me comes out hardcore. So I put all those things in, and I bought like markers. Like I put like highlighters and just random things in there and made it really pretty. And before I knew it, people were unboxing it on camera, and I was like, oh my God, yes. There was a period of time that I had like a daily headache, because when I get really excited, I get a headache. So I was like pounding head the entire time.
That's like a cost for happiness.
Yes, it is. It's kind of like, you know, like those fae people in the fantasy books that if they use their powers, they like have repercussions.
Yeah,
that's me. Only I'm not a fae.
Are you?
I'm Puerto Rican. I don't think there's Puerto Rican faes.
Just really the brujas.
Let's be honest. Now, if anyone knows some Puerto Rican fae books, drop the recommendations. We need them.
Give us those titles.
Yes, we need them.
The Boricuas need it.
Yes, I need some Taino you know, like fantasy fae things going on. So yes.
And it's funny that you mentioned cold calling, because that seems to be one of the
I know that's a topic this week, isn't it?
It's a topic right now.
I you know, I never engage in the discourse because and it's one of my marketing things that I promised myself that my channel was just going to be about like my book and my promotion. But yeah, this has happened to me. I didn't realize that it was happening to other people, that I would follow a fellow author, because I do follow every author that follows me. I automatically follow them back. I don't care if you've got 3 followers. Okay, you're probably here to learn, and you know, like welcome in.
We're in this together.
Exactly. And then I had that happen to me a few times. Immediately after I followed them, they would send me a message with like a spiel, and I was like, so I'm not easily embarrassed, but I'm really embarrassed right now, and for whatever reason, and I'm not saying it's like the male gender in particular, but for me, twice it was men, and I was just like, sir, please, I'm embarrassed. I cannot take this. This is too much embarrassment. I don't do this very well. So I have just kind of like ignored it. Like I just leave it there, because I'm not going to engage in you like arguing, you know, stop doing this, please stop doing. But it is, I imagine like when it happens to a reader, it must be even worse. No, I need to know this detail.
Oh, so it doesn't happen very often. And what was funny to me is because I do reach out to indies to say, hey, I do want to read more indie books, so drop titles. So I do have very specific videos for that. Yes. But even before I did those videos, every now and then, I'd like, especially when I first started on TikTok, someone would follow me and I'd be like, oh, if they have any kind of platform, I'll follow them back, just to kind of gain relationships of, you know, have those connections and everything. And about like twice, I got DMs in TikTok, and every now and then I do get someone sending into my email here's the pitch. And like I don't mind that too much, because in emails, at the very least, as long as they like know who they're sending it to. I have
Yes.
yet to get one that doesn't have my correct name on it. Every now and then I've heard people like be like, I don't know if they forgot to change the name, but like they'd send it and it's someone else's completely entirely different name as a dear whoever. But every now and then I do get ones in there. And I think one of the big things that kind of came up with this discourse on TikTok, and I think you'll probably agree with this as advice, is if you're going to do cold calls, make sure it's with someone who's actually going to be interested in your book. Because sometimes I would get them and I'm like, do you watch my content? Like,
yeah, those are the ones that I got. Those are the ones that I got, but it's very strange because whenever I did reach out to people who, though I have been following for many years, like for example, there's a creator that I've followed for 15 years, I think, long time, but they're huge creators, so they don't know who I am, but I have been following them, and I did reach out, and I did like an entire personalized note. I've been following you since 2011. I know that you like this type of book, so I ensured to make it personalized that I know that this person would enjoy the book. They don't have to respond, and I make it clear, if you're going to be doing that, someone who doesn't know who it is, you do not have to respond if you do not feel comfortable. I would hate for people to like feel uncomfortable, but like at least know what genre these people read.
Yeah. So like I would never say don't try and reach out to people, but it's more like how you do it is very important.
Yes.
Yeah. So like if any of the authors who I do follow and who I had interacted with reached out, I would be very okay with that because they know who I am, I know who they are, and we've built that relationship. It was just like people who immediately after I hit follow got a DM, and I was like, what the
like immediately it was like, wow. And it's like a really like generic spiel, which is even worse.
It's copy pasted.
Yes, it's even worse. Like, don't do this generic spiel. Like, okay, so like if I said about like the reason that my book has found the success it has is because you take time, right? You keep throwing it out there. You got to build like I hate to say the word following, but it's more like a group of people who are genuinely interested in you. You know, it's this cold calling thing is all it's going to do is it's going to be off-putting to people, and they're automatically going to put you into like do not disturb list. Yes. That's all you're doing. You're shooting yourself in the foot, especially if you're trying to reach out to like a larger creator. They probably get, I mean, when I used to review books, I've mentioned before that I used to review books as a side hustle. Like that's what I would do. I would get like random packages from publishers, and there would be books that I just would not be interested in reading. And they would just sit in my shelf. Like, I don't want these. Like, at least find out from me if I want them before I even start. And then, of course, a lot of the ones that you get are ARC copies. So you really can't sell them. So I tried to donate them to the library. The library didn't want them. So I kind of like did like a drop by in the library in the middle of the night. I shouldn't confess this on camera. Like, you're going to take them whether you want them or not.
So sorry, the little free libraries probably also get.
And we didn't have any of that. Now I've discovered two, so now I know what to do with them if I continue to like if I ever get them again. But yeah, it's just as a reader, most of these readers like have giant TBRs. Let's start there. If they're a giant creator, they're a larger creator, anyone I think that has like at least like 2,000 followers or more, their TBR is already giant, right? Because they're getting exposed to all these amazing books that they want to read. So TBR is giant. You're hoping to fit within that TBR that they already have. And if you're doing that, they're just never going to prioritize you. Yeah. So don't do that, please. You're right. It's just very awkward, and it makes the rest of us like look really bad. Like, stop. No, don't do that. That's embarrassing. It's the same like authors. I this drives me insane. Authors that post negative reviews on their like videos. They'll scratch out the name, but a smart person can just go to Goodreads and find it really quick. Like, don't do that. Like, just leave it alone. Just go about your life. Have an IPA, you know?
I think like, so I used to do writing workshops when I was in college. Was my degree was in creative writing. And so I'm like, at least it's not someone saying it to your face. Like I had a group of people surround and having someone be like, this is not good. Like right next to you, you're just like,
you're just like holding all of your feelings in your left thumb.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not.
And then they give you back the paper with all the markings and you're just like,
yes. You're just like, that was my first English professor. I still remember her, Dr. Tudhill was his name. And this man made an impact on me. I was 18, so I'm 42 and I was 18 when I had his class, and I'm still traumatized by that man. And I remember that I just filled my mouth telling him that I was a writer. Mm-hmm.
Then you get the paper back.
And he gives it to me and he's like, try again. And it was an F. And I was like,
you're like,
yeah, like the emotional damage was intense.
Yeah.
So like, okay, but in his face, I smiled and I said, thank you so much. And then I went to my Toyota 1998 and cried.
Yeah, like, I was 18 when I started my creative writing classes, and having someone even just pick apart the name I chose for my character, like the professor, like
the
this,
name.
Like, yeah, and I'm like,
oh, Annabella, how original.
I know, like it looks like you picked this just because it's not original. I was like, that's right, but still.
So, like just have an IPA and cry on your own.
Yeah.
And then
pretty much was that, like shoving donuts in my face in the middle of like the food court.
we had a Taco Bell. Like those Mexican pizzas came in handy after Dr. Tudhill's classes. Let me just say, those Mexican pizzas were delightful.
So I will say that if I ever do manage to publish my book or whatever,
you will. I know you will.
I think I'll be able to handle like a written negative review, like whatever.
Just let it go. The thing is, most often or not, we get a lot more encouraging and good reviews than we do. But we hyper focus on the bad ones. Like those tear our souls out. But for the most part, people are incredibly kind, and they are, even the ones that have like, qualms about things. Most of the time I agree with them. I'm like, you're right.
So you're
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I shouldn't have done that. But it's so funny how I agree with all the critical ones.
You know what? Sometimes they can be helpful.
I'm a firm believer in reading the critic. I know there's a lot of authors who really shy away from them. I'm like, listen, come on, give it to me. What's going on? Because the next book, I'm gonna have my list, and I'm gonna be like, I did all this in the first book. I'm gonna try not to do it in the second book. And that's the way I see it. It's kind of like a task list.
I love that.
Yeah, a task list of negative reviews.
I love it. Just okay, bullet point this.
Yeah, bullet point this. Pacing, 100% agree. 100%. Like I become total bubblehead. I'm like, yes, 100% agree. Yes. Yep. I got it down on my list. Actually, before I even send it to my beta readers, I'm like, this is all the stuff that's wrong with it. Okay. Thanks.
It's all, so got it.
It's our job, not yours.
Yeah. Well.
Well. It's getting raw out there. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it already.
Do you have a title for your next book, by the way? Because you said your second book is with beta readers now.
Yes. The second book is called Lady of Istok. I'm not gonna go further, but it is Hira's story. So what's the thing with my book is it's a 5-book series, a total of 5 books. If you didn't know, it's a giant series because I couldn't have started with a small one. So the title, The Queen's Red Guard, is specific because now we're gonna follow each of the different women within the Red Guard.
Nice.
So the second book focuses on Hira. Now it doesn't mean that Almira's point of view goes away. She does have it kind of like in the same way that Hira's point of view is in this one. It kind of takes like a back seat slightly. And Hira takes over the main narration. Book 3 is going to be Sana's book. I cannot release the title to that yet because I'm currently under debate with myself over the title. There's 2 really good contenders. I'm not going to make a decision until I write it to see which one fits it better. So yeah, it's 5-book series, and it is called Lady of Istock. It's in beta readers, and the hope is that I publish the first weekend of June, at the very end of the spring. But I said spring, so I have to deliver during spring.
June still counts.
Yes, I looked it up in Google.
So if anyone has any questions, Google is the one you have to debate with.
I was like, when does spring end? Oh, June 21st. Oh, June.
Well, cross my fingers for you.
Thank you very much.
Do you do you already have cover already designed, or is that nice?
Oh yeah, the cover pre-orders and everything will be up in February. So yes, cover will be. I've had the cover done since August. And I did them with plenty of time because I had to rush for book 1. So #never again. I do not deal with that extra stress well. So I had it done with plenty of time, got the title. It is Lady of Istock, and it is book 2 of the Queen's Guard series.
Excellent. And I will have links to both your site and your Amazon page.
Thank you.
Of course, down in the description. So if you're interested in Isabelle's story, in her debut novel and her series, then you can click on that and go to it.
Thank you very much. If anyone signed in, it was lovely to have you. If not, you can watch it later and watch the chaos unfold.
Thank you so much, Isabelle, for coming and chatting with me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was hilarious.
All right, everyone. Sorry. All right, everyone. You guys have a good day. Go check out Isabelle's book, and I will see you all later. As always and forever, may get lost in the book.
Oh, I love that.